Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Dario here with another Options and Play video update. We are coming into a little bit quieter of a week of earnings. Definitely slows down a little bit as we near April, but there are a couple big names, and even outside of the names on the calendar, I mean, we could have a pretty busy week just because I mean, I feel like actually every week has been busy since the calendar has been 2022. So. Um, I'm expecting action though. Definitely a little bit slower on the earnings front. All right. Before they open on Monday, PDD. So about 9 points is what's priced in here. There are actually a couple of Chinese companies listed. A couple of Chinese companies expected to report earnings next week. Um, the problem is, it's very hard, very hard to figure out what to expect because I mean they've been just ridiculously volatile lately, um, and the option pricing is through the roof. In terms of PDD, Baba and JD didn't have good reports. Um, so I mean, it seems to me to be kind of hard to be super positive going into this print. Not only has the group been pretty weak, but Baba and JD had weaker reports for the holiday quarter. Um, that being said, I'm not sure that I'm going to be playing any of the Chinese names reporting next week because I think the stocks have been so volatile and the options are priced so high that they're not great setups. But PDD, it's a big name and it's Monday before they open, so it could impact Baba or even potentially JD. After the close on Monday, Nike about 11 points is what's priced in here. It's a big retail report. They had a solid print back in December, and that's when you got this pop here. But obviously, the stock is way off that level now. Adidas just reported about a week ago and had pretty solid results, so that might be a little bit of like a read through to Nike. So um, maybe I'm a little bit more bullish bias this quarter. It's just kind of hard to say where the expectations are right now because I mean it has had a nice bounce off its low, but I mean, a lot of retailers are well off their lows, and actually quite a few of them had decent quarters but sold off after. So, I mean, the option pricing, if there's one thing that kind of stood out to me, it was like the option pricing, which seems a little bit higher for Nike. So I'm not sure how much room they leave. So it's kind of like a toss-up pattern, and I guess I'm really on the fence with it. Before they open on Tuesday, Carnival. About $1.50 is what they're looking for. I haven't traded the cruise stocks much over the last few months, so I don't think I'm going to start now with Carnival earnings. But it could move RCL or NCLH. So I mean, if you like trading those stocks, maybe you're looking at a sympathy play on the other ones because I mean those names as a group seem to move together. After the close on Tuesday, big software report, Adobe, priced in about 30 points. Stock acts lousy, but that's pretty par for the course in the software sector. Um, it is kind of coming off a lackluster quarter in December. Wasn't the best print for them. I mean, I think after this drop, the valuation's a little bit better, but it doesn't mean it still can't go lower if they disappoint. We've seen that plenty of times in software land over the last month and a half. If I can get risk down, this might be something to look at for volatility strategy, just because software stocks they've been pretty consistently moving this quarter. Um, but it does rarely move more than like 10 to 15%. So I mean, I'd really have to get premium down. Poshmark. So about $3 is what they're looking for. Those are monthly options. Go out through April. It's just completely collapsed since the day of its IPO. So this was IPO day, and this is it now. It's never even come close to retesting that high, and the stock is in the low teens with really no major bounce attempts in months. So, I mean, this would not be an earnings play for me. I would only look at it maybe if the numbers are good and it can start to break the downtrend. But I mean, that's a lot of things need to fall into place for that to happen. Before they open on Wednesday, General Mills, so about 375 is what's priced in, but those are monthly options as well. Um, it's really all about inflation now with staples. So now we'll get to hear what General Mills has to say on that front. It can occasionally be a move around earnings, but I'd say the chart right now doesn't look like anything special. It might impact Kellogg's. Those two can trade together, but really, I don't know if there's a sympathy play because Kellogg doesn't have weekly options either. So you're definitely paying more time value for both of them. JKS, so Jinko Solar, about 10.5 points is what's priced in, but those are monthly options. Solar has been good. Chinese companies have not been good, right? So JKS has had a volatile March because it's been kind of pushed and pulled in both directions, with up with the solar stocks, down with the Chinese stocks, back up with the Chinese stocks. So it just seems like there's just so much going on with these Chinese companies, and earnings just might be second fiddle. So plus with like the options priced high and you got to pay for the April monthlies, I mean, it just seems like it's going to be an avoid for me. After the close on Wednesday, Ollie's bargain basement. This could be interesting. It's pricing about 6.5 points, which are monthly options, but it is coming off a weak quarter and it's at a pretty big spot on its chart. So I feel like it's an important spot, and it's an important quarter because it's the holiday quarter. And if I could get risk down, it might have some room in either direction. So even paying for the Aprils, I mean, it could leave some room on the options because it does appear to be room either way. Before the open on Thursday, Darden, about 13 points, but those are monthly options. It's not an easy name to trade, but it does occasionally move around earnings. I haven't had much success with it lately. Actually, I haven't had much success with restaurant stocks in general lately, so I'm probably going to leave it alone. It does have some room lower though if they disappoint, because it's hovering right above. Let me scroll out so you can see it's hovering right above like this giant monthly support level from last year. So if they disappoint, there definitely appears to be some room to the downside. And then Thursday after the close, Neo. So Neo is priced in about $1.50. And it's kind of the same idea with PDD and JKS. It's had such a ridiculous week and a half of trading that, I mean, it's really hard to know what to expect movement wise for this earnings release. I will say, like, the pricing doesn't seem too high, but it's also not a great technical setup. So it's kind of like a tougher overall setup. But if I was going to look at maybe one of them for an earnings play, or maybe one of them as a play going into earnings, might be Neo. But I think it's more of like a directional play, and I would need conviction on one side versus the other. So I guess I'll see how like the first few days of the week go and see where it is on Thursday. Then maybe make a decision. And then Friday before the open, there's really nothing of interest. So that's it. A few names, a few big names, some big price smoothing moves, and maybe some companies that really kind of impact a bunch of others. So like I said, it's not super busy earnings wise, but it's been busy outside of earnings. So I'm expecting a good week of trading. Okay. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading earnings or events with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great weekend. Stay well, and I will talk to you on Monday.